Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to Tarot Talks. This is the review of the Temperance card 14. The first words that come about when I think of this card is internal evolution, eternal evolution. And this card is the card of change, but since this is the alchemy card, the word that's better used to suit the word change would be transformation. Change is what links it numerically to number 5. So it is a 1 + 4, 5 instead of a 2 + 3, 5. So the energies are going to be different. The way you arrive to the number in numerology is a little bit different, and that's when it gets a little bit deeper into numerology. So this change is more internal. It's more of a transmutation. It's not like an eruption of change in the Querent's life where you're going to see like relocation or getting fired from a job or changing jobs or breakups or moves, things like that. It's not about things like that. It's about the change that we go through constantly inside as we ascend to the higher being on our road to becoming this human with wings here, this angel. In the tarot, a lot of times we don't think of ourselves as the higher beings that are placed in the tarot. We think of ourselves as the kings, the queens, the people in the pip cards, things like that. But this is a human with wings. And when a human receives his wings, it doesn't always mean that we're flying. It means you're able to traverse different realms. You're able to go back and forth through spirit, through the world of spirit, back to the world of earth and communicate messages, and almost like a shaman and an enlightened, the most highly enlightened human. And this is also about the connection to who you really are, is that we are here trying to ascend to our higher light being form. And all of these minor situations that go on through the pip cards and the minor arcana are just pebbles in the road. They're really not that much of a big deal as it is to evolve and to change and to become an enlightened human being. So we're spiritual beings here, and we're here to evolve through experience and the ebb and flow that keeps the male and female elements perfectly married. So there's constantly a movement, so we don't have too much of one fluid, too much of another, so that when the pendulum fully swings in one direction, it automatically begins to come back to the other. So another major theme of this card, well, the main major theme of this card is balance. And it's balance through restraint. So if you go to the gym and you work out really hard, you're able to eat what you want. And if you have a cheat day, then you would need to go to the gym and work out really hard. So it's about balance. And in life and in tarot, balance is the main theme. And this is how you achieve perfection. You achieve perfection through balance. So when we say balance through restriction, it doesn't mean like you can't do things that, seem like a little naughty or whatever. It's moderation in all things. So you can entertain a little bit in the bed, but you also have to be able to be like, all right, that's enough. Not too much wine, not too much weed, whatever it is. And I'm not saying to go do drugs. Find a balance. Find out how to be a healthy drug addict. No, that's not what we're talking about here, but you know what I mean. All right. So this card is about keeping everything perfectly balanced. This is a part of our life's work as humans. And this is what we're here for. We're here to try and taste and do everything. And instead of being so carnal about everything and be like, oh, this is so good, let me eat the whole plate. I mean, like, no, you know what? This isn't going to be good on my stomach. This is going to make me gain weight. Let me not eat as much. Let me enjoy the taste of it. Let me get, somewhat full on it. But let me not overindulge. And that's what temperance is about. So the liquids in the chalice are being blended. So you're also going to get a sense of working together to come together and to create something new. Because this is the same theme that you're going to see in the Lovers card. This is the same dude, the same angel. He's dressed a little different. But he also shows up in the Judgment card as well. And it's the same dude every single time. But whereas the Lovers 6, they're showing you the male and female coming together in material form in our bodies, how when we come together, we make children. This is on the more spiritual level, how like things are made, how it reminds me of like, if we think about the word temper, to temper something, to temper a sword, you're going to heat it up and cool it down. And there's your alchemy element. You're heating up and you're cooling down. You're heating up and you're cooling down again to reshape and reform the metal that you're working with. And this is like a really, really good example, because alchemy talks about turning lead into gold and working with metals, but we're not really working with metals, where it's your soul. So also, I think of like lava. When I think of hot metal, I think of lava, because they look the same. And then how lava dries up and then gets wet by the rain, and then it dries up again, and then it becomes earth. And that's the alchemy of how things are made. The form of it is sent through a 7-step process. So that 7-step process is, let's just get there. I'm looking through my notes here. Okay, so we have the 7 steps are dissolution, separation, conjunction, fermentation, distillation, and coagulation. And where you get the reference to 7 in this card is going to be on his chest. So you have the square, right? And that represents 4. And the square represents matter. Okay, and then the triangle in between, which represents 3, is the spirit. So you're also getting another message in there besides the numerical reference to alchemy. You're getting the spirit embedded into matter. And that's what you always want to remember throughout all spiritual practices. This is like the Hermes stone in ancient Greece. This is not mythology, this is real. In ancient Greece, they would have these stones, and it would be like this big long square stone with a head popping out of it, and sometimes it would have male genitals on it. So what it was is consciousness, your head, embedded into matter with the ability of creation. That's why the genitals were present, because you are a co-creator. But it is our life's work to chip away at that stone and uncover the spiritual nature that is embedded within matter. And if you look even closer, right here, right above here, this is like a truth bomb I'm about to drop. So if you look closer, you're going to see this. And I'm not great at drawing Hebrew letters, but these are spaced a little bit too far apart. But this is Yod He Vav He. This is the name of God written in Hebrew in this angel's, the fold of this angel's gowns. Now, prior to this, I believe that the only time you were going to see Yod He Vav He in the tarot was going to be on the Wheel of Fortune. So this makes this card even more esoteric than I initially thought it was. Like, this is crazy. We also have the balancing of the elements. We have the 1 foot on earth, the 1 foot in water, and the wings that represent air, and then the fire in the sun glyph right on the middle of the forehead. So this is like right in his third eye. He's got the enlightened energy of God and the knowledge of God. And now we know that we're going into a place where we are rising above, because now we have the sun coming through the mountains, whereas in death it was kind of like laying very low, and it was rising, but it wasn't rising above yet. So we know that this card is a card of beauty, and it's a good feeling, even though we have to employ discipline to work hard to achieve balance. Once you get there, it feels, you understand that things start to really work from that 0 point energy, that balanced point, because you have both the best energies from both worlds. You're not getting too much of one and too much of other. And that's why he's blending the liquids back and forth throughout his chalices. And so this is, the ruler is Sagittarius. This is mutable fire, so it's changeable fire. So even though we have a lot of water present in this card, fire also is very present as well. And then, that way you get the male and female with the water and fire, and it's changeable fire. Okay. And Sagittarius is the sage, and the sage is the god of the Greek philosophers, because that is the highest level of human that you can get to. The most enlightened human being is the sage. And they're like, in astrology, the Sagittarius, that's the philosopher. Okay. And we have the philosopher's stone that comes from there. So like there's a lot of intermingling and intertwining, and Jupiter is your ruler, and that's going to be, again, expansion and change, transmutation. So your 5, the way that you get to your 5 here is internal. It's not through changes in the world and lessons that you learn through different places that you go and different people that you meet. It's different states of being inside through the 7 alchemical steps of alchemy. Let's see. And then in, like we talked about the Hermai being the representation of the spirit and matter, the Ankh is going to be your Egyptian glyph for spirit within matter. All right. Also, another important thing is when this card shows up with other cup cards, it is almost always a reference to alcohol, too much drink. Temperance itself, the word temperance, means abstaining from drink. What was really funny is when I was making my notes for this video, that night I was watching one of my favorite shows, which is Mystery at the Museum, and they covered the temperance movement, which I was like, wow, that's really strange. So I didn't know abolition lasted for 13 years. That's a crazy long time. But anyway, yeah, so the word temperance itself means abstaining from drink. So you have that meaning as well. If you get this in exoteric sense, if you're trying to just be exoteric about it, again, it's just going to be about gaining balance in your life through not doing too much. Just kind of not eating too much, indulging, but not too much. So there's always an era of abstaining somewhat. But again, it's not so much that you're restricting yourself. It's that balance. And it's really important to take in all of these meanings, because the eso and exoteric, it just depends on what type of reading you're doing. And then in the esoteric terms, this could be somebody who is in for a change and being like, whoa, dude, you're about to really like experience some big internal changes. But it also depends on what other cards are around. So balance, it breeds creation. Whenever you get to that perfect point, it's going to breed creation, because you have the perfect energy, the perfect amount of energy from both sides. So you also have to relate the astrological aspects to it. We could be talking about a Sagittarius. We could be someone who's going in for a huge learning experience that's going to shape their soul and shape who they are, and it's going to really even them out and calm them down. You look at the etymology, like I said, to restrain from drink. That's what temperance is. But then temper, to cool and heat up your temper. They could also be referring to someone who's got a really bad temper. You need to find balance. You need to cool that shit down, and it can also be a reference to alchemy. It all depends on who you're reading for and what you're looking at as far as what the other cards are. So I hope that was informational for you, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Someone brought to my attention that you're only able to see a couple of the videos that are on my channel at a time, and it's really strange because I have the entire minor arcana and the entire court as well, and now we're working up to the end of the major arcana. I think we got like 6 cards left, so I'm going to try and see what's going on with that, why you can't see them all. But definitely for me, when I look them up, like Lady M Tarot Talks, like 3 of Wands, like it'll come up. So if you're not able to see my videos, please just put them in the search bar for now. I'm going to try and see what's going on with that and see if I could do some troubleshooting. But in the meantime, enjoy the this Major Arcana series. I hope you're enjoying it. I put a lot of effort and a lot of work. It usually takes me like 2 days to compile notes and get all my thoughts down so I can present this to you guys. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, and I really appreciate you all.